happen. Readings are always a community endeavor, and I'm honored to be here reading with these are the writers tonight. How about you? I really am. I come from afar. I think So You Can Tell is an amazing sort of prompt for reading, and I was thinking about what does that mean? Well, it could mean so you can discern something about me or somebody, you can tell. But I was thinking, I'm going to read just two poems about the act of telling and what that means. And the first one I'm going to read is a newer poem, and partly because Rachel's here, and I met Rachel when I was in Lake Forest at the Ragdale Foundation. This poem is called Lake Forest Resale Shop, and it's about a thrift store in a very hoity-toity sort of suburb of Chicago called Lake Forest, where the poem is. I'm writing a series of things about what happens to items, clothing items, material goods, as they sort of pass through the world. So this is from that longer thing. And in terms of the theme of tonight, it seems to me that one of the things I wanted to think about in this poem is, so you think you can tell, who are you telling? Who is the reader? Who is the audience? So it sort of interrogates that idea a little bit. The quotes in the poem are actually from the thrift shop. You can go in there and read them yourself. The other word you need to know is the word chifforobe, which has 3 proper spellings. It turns out, a kind of old piece of furniture with drawers on the bottom and then the doors open on the top where you can hang up your things. Chifforobe. So this is called Lake Forest Resale Shop. Can you hear me okay back there? Lake Forest Resale Shop. This is where your mother's chifforobe has come to die. Resurfaced, redeemed, reserved, till someone who's paid $40 comes back and picks it up. This is where your mother's chifforobe has come to die. Your mother's applies to those of you who have or had mothers you can remember, or were told about your mother in sufficient detail to know about any chifforobe she may have had. The others may be excused now. This is where your mother's chifforobe has come to die. Your mother's chifforobe applies to those of you whose mothers possessed furniture. Everyone else may be excused. Has come applies to those of you who possess a truck and 2 strong people, or can hire a truck and 2 strong people who are able to lift heavy things, or who are able to log into the website and read the words in English there to see when the monthly neighborhood pickups happen and happen to live in the neighborhood. Or those who volunteer at the shop to get rid of cabin fever. Everyone else may be excused. Has come to die applies to those of you who are not disturbed by the metaphor, who do not find it to be too heavy, like the chifforobe. You are going with the story, oh curious, oh generous, you the readers, and not worrying too much about deconstruction, which you hope won't happen to the chifforobe. Everyone else may be excused. And we almost forgot. This applies to those of you who have an idea about what a resale shop is, such that you have already narrowed down the possible places you could be picturing now that you've read the title and are soldiering along with the rest. Everyone else might have a creepy feeling about thrift shops, or an overly defined picture of their most favorite thrift shop, or a repulsion to the idea of using other people's things because it reminds you of your mother's impoverished past and how she felt about those places. If so, you may be excused, and it might be best if you took your mom with you. You can take her gently by the arm, if she has arms, and we will wait patiently until the door clicks closed behind the 2 of you, and we will wish you well in the distance. If there's anyone left who is you the reader, you can join us, the speaker, and we can make our way through the showcase of jewels, fabulous fashion finds, vintage couture, stylish home decor, airport thrillers and vintage cookbooks, darling baby clothes, and timeless art pieces, to the fine furniture, full sets, and pieces in the back. which is from this more recent book, Quarry Cross. And this is more, so you think you can tell. It's about two kinds of telling. Just to orient yourself in this, it's kind of a very long sentence. It happens that someone who's a man, a grown man, is telling a story about his childhood to someone else. It's the first time he's told this story. It's the story about a childhood cruelty that he was part of, when he was part of a group of boys who, as you might see at the beach sometimes, buried another boy in the sand and then went off and forgot about him. And it's told in terms of, so you think you can tell, it's told by the listener, the person he has told this story to, who then is haunted by not only the image of that, but the sense of the telling of it. So it has to do with the quality of telling. And I'll finish with this. It's called What You Told Me. What you told me, word on word, like straws in a fist, the short and the long of it, the hollowed out, already tanned midnight paste of it, something about a boy, something about a knife nearby, a boy voice buckling up through the tonnage of wet sand, a game, just a game, the straw in the mouth of it, filled with the collapse of it, the torpor and collide, something about forgetting, the mouth meat abandoned, but speaking now, sharpening the blame of it, shimmying the damp of it, a drifting of the rack of bones the cloth-covered face is, a sinking contingency, conscripted awe of the boy who lived, his room, the next room, straws in a fist, sticks slapped across your palm, his room in Athens now, his room on the moon, his door in the mountain, skull and crossbones in the mountain collapsing, time spitting, the hours running down on him, who you are not the father of, not the twin brother of, the long and the short of it, the single responsible hour, some boss breathing down on it, some place where the dead line up for their silly food, the saying of the meat of it, the things that must be seen to, the boy, not your boy, the straw in his mouth, the thud and the glance as you watch me for a sign, the boy, not your boy, no, of course, not yours, but the weight and the heat, the grill and grid the ghosts still sift through, the fishy air jammed with ghosts, leaves in your mouth, the radical random darkness still settling, the leaves, the tree, the boy shakes to death the next day, rooted but wounded, a purple leafy darkness ashamed, the leaf sounds undoably overlapped, the grimble and soak, the rot and the drift of throat, of dark throat, the suck and the quiet now, quiet, shh, the thrum of these boy-ridden glades.